Imagine this. Your CEO throws a fit in front of everyone over a problem he himself had approved months earlier. Or a manager in a meeting asks if you remute or just stupid until you break down in tears at your desk. These aren't just bad days at work. These are the kinds of moments that can silence you, sometimes for good. Let's look at a few real workplace stories. One employee at a game studio recalled how their CEO ruled with an iron fist. The team felt constantly watched, and whenever things went wrong, management shifted blame onto the workers instead of admitting to poor planning. This employee kept thorough records, logging every issue carefully. 6 months earlier, they had documented a minor visual bug. Management, including the CEO, had signed off that it didn't need fixing. Then, right before Christmas, the CEO suddenly spotted that same bug and went into a rage. He accused the employee of negligence and dragged others into the conversation, insisting the issue was new. Calmly, the employee pointed to the old report with the CEO's own signature on it. The tantrum ended instantly. The CEO had no defense. The situation showed how dangerous autocratic leadership can be. One person in full control, unwilling to listen, quick to shift blame. In this case, good paperwork saved the employee. Another worker shared how their manager used team meetings for humiliation rather than guidance. Instead of constructive feedback, the manager mocked people in front of everyone. If you hesitated to answer, he'd sneer, "Are you mute or just stupid?" For introverts, these sessions were brutal. Senior staff brushed it off, telling them to suck it up. But this constant public shaming eroded confidence, morale, and trust, creating a toxic environment. This was bullying, not leadership. Others shared similar experiences. Bosses who nitpicked endlessly, never offered praise, and treated control as a form of power. While some employees learned resilience and thoroughness, the lessons came at a high cost. But not all stories were bleak. Some people remembered leaders who challenged them without crushing them. One boss was demanding, but also funny, supportive, and patient. He didn't just critique writing, he sat down and walked through every line, building confidence along the way. Another gave new responsibilities and space to grow, while always being there as a safety net. These leaders inspired growth, creativity, and loyalty, examples of transformational leadership. A software engineer shared a darker story. They tried to improve the company's systems, but when an issue arose, their terrible manager exploded instead of helping. Public outbursts, lack of empathy, and constant blame led the engineer to cry at their desk. Later, the manager punished them, further taking away projects, twisting facts, and eventually putting them on a performance improvement plan. The constant pressure and manipulation destroyed trust. Even though the engineer completed the plan, they ultimately left the company. In contrast, one person described their first boss, Kurt. When they made a serious mistake, putting the wrong fuel in equipment, Kurt didn't yell. Instead, he calmly explained the error, focused on the lesson, and showed respect. That built lasting trust and loyalty. So what do these stories teach us? Leadership styles matter. Autocratic leaders breed fear. Transactional leaders focus only on punishment and rewards. Transformational leaders build trust, encourage growth, and inspire teams. Good communication, listening, empathy, constructive feedback makes all the difference. For English learners, these stories also highlight valuable vocabulary around leadership, communication, and workplace culture. To throw a fit means to have a tantrum or to become extremely angry. An iron fist refers to a style of leadership that is strict and controlling. To log something carefully means to record or document something in a detailed and systematic way. To sign off is to give permission or approval. To drag someone into a conversation means to involve someone in a discussion, often in a negative or unpleasant way. To accuse someone of something is to charge them with doing something wrong or illegal. To insist that something is true means to strongly and often repetitively state that something is true. To point to something is to use your finger to direct attention to a particular thing. A tantrum is a fit of anger, and the word tantrum describes something like this. To brush something off is to dismiss or ignore something as unimportant. To suck it up means to endure or tolerate something unpleasant without complaining. To nitpick is to find fault with small and unimportant details. To take away means to deprive or to remove something. To twist the facts is to distort the truth or to misrepresent the facts. To put someone on a performance improvement plan is a formal process used in many companies to address an employee as poor performance. To manipulate is to influence or control someone in a negative or deceptive way. To destroy trust is to break the confidence or belief that one person has in another. To complete is to finish or to fulfill. To build trust is to establish confidence or belief in the reliability, strength, or truth of something. Transformational leadership is a style of leadership that inspires and motivates followers to transcend their own self-interest for the good of the organization. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Constructive feedback is criticism or advice that is intended to help someone improve. Thanks for watching. See you next time.